Admiral Kang Minho looked out the large window of the council station. Stars filled the dark space around them. He had been Earth's main representative for 3 years now. The job was not easy. Most aliens still saw humans as newcomers who did not belong. The station was huge. It floated in space near Proxima Centauri. Thousands of different species lived and worked here. They made laws for the whole galaxy. Humans had only been part of this council for 50 years. That was very short time compared to other species who had been here for thousands of years. Minho walked through the main corridor. Tall aliens with blue skin passed by him. Small, furry creatures rolled past in metal balls. He had learned to recognize many different species, but there were always new ones arriving. His assistant, Lieutenant Kim Sora, hurried to catch up with him. She carried a data pad with the day's reports. "Admiral, the morning meeting starts in 10 minutes, she said. "Any word from Dr. Park Ji-won?" Minho asked. The doctor was on the Villani homeworld, studying their medical technology. "Yes, sir. She sent a message this morning. The Villani are very excited about the new healing methods they are sharing with us." Minho smiled. The Villani were humanity's best friends in the galaxy. They were peaceful water creatures who lived on a planet they called Aquatica. Their world was mostly oceans with floating cities. The Villani looked like large dolphins but could live both in water and on land. They were very smart and kind. The friendship between humans and Villani had started by accident. 5 years ago, a human cargo ship had engine problems near Aquatica. The Villani rescued the crew and fixed their ship. They did not ask for anything in return. This surprised the humans because most alien species always wanted payment for help. Captain Lee Subin had been on that cargo ship. She always said that day changed everything for humanity. The Villani treated them like family from the first meeting. They shared food, stories, and knowledge freely. Now the two species worked together on many projects. Human engineering skills mixed well with Villani medical knowledge. They had built new hospitals on both Earth and Aquatica. Trade ships moved between their worlds every day. Minho entered the council meeting room. It was a large, round space with seats for over 200 species. Most seats were empty today. Only about 50 representatives had come for the morning session. He took his seat in the human section. Next to him sat Ambassador Nayujin, who handled trade agreements. Across the room, he could see the Krellian delegates. They were large, reptile-like creatures with sharp teeth and red eyes. They always wore military uniforms and looked angry. The Krellians led something called the Hegemony Coalition. This was a group of species who believed they were better than others. They thought some species were pure and others were dirty. Humans and Villani were on their dirty list. The meeting started when the council speaker, a tall gray alien, hit his staff on the floor. "Today we discussed the genetic purity laws proposed by the Hegemony Coalition," he announced. General Krax of the Krellians stood up. His voice was deep and scary. "The galaxy faces a serious problem. Some species are mixing their genetics with others. This makes weak offspring. It threatens the future of all pure species." Minho felt his hands make fists. He knew Krax was talking about humans and Villani. The two species had started sharing medical treatments. Some humans now had Villani healing abilities. Some Villani had human strength improvements. Both species were getting better, not worse. "The coalition demands new laws," Krax continued. "Species must stay separate. No more genetic sharing. No more mixed colonies. Pure species must be protected from contamination." Other coalition members nodded and made agreeing sounds. There were about 20 species in their group. Most of them were military-focused and aggressive. Ambassador Nayujin whispered to Minho, "They want to destroy our friendship with the Villani." The speaker asked if anyone wanted to respond. Minho stood up slowly. The room became quiet. Many aliens still found humans interesting because they were new. "Honored speaker, the Hegemony Coalition speaks of contamination," Minho said. His voice was calm but strong. "But what we see between humans and Villani is cooperation. Our medical advances have saved millions of lives. Our children are healthier. Our crops grow better. How is this contamination?" Some aliens in the room made approving sounds, but the coalition members looked angry. Krax pointed one clawed finger at Minho. You mammals do not understand the ancient laws of genetic purity. Your species is young and foolish. You will bring chaos to the galaxy if you continue this mixing. The only chaos I see, Minho replied, comes from those who fear progress and friendship. The meeting went on for 2 more hours. The coalition demanded votes on their new laws. The other species were divided. Some supported genetic freedom. Others feared making the coalition angry. After the meeting, Minho walked to the communications center. He needed to talk with Dr. Park Ji-won on Aquatica. The video call connected quickly. Ji-won's face appeared on the screen. Behind her, he could see the blue waters of the Vellani world. Admiral, I heard about the council meeting, Ji-won said. She looked worried. Prime Scholar Current wants to speak with you. Current was the leader of the Vellani. He was very old and wise. The Vellani had nicknamed him Current because his real name was too long for humans to say properly. The screen changed. Current's dolphin-like face appeared. His large black eyes were full of concern. Friend Minho, we have received troubling reports. Hegemony ships have been seen near our space borders. How many ships? Minho asked. Our scouts report at least 30 war vessels. They claim to be on patrol, but they are moving closer to our world each day. Minho felt cold fear in his stomach. 30 hegemony warships was a large force. Current, are your defenses ready? We are a peaceful people, friend Minho. Our ships are for research and rescue, not war. If the hegemony attacks, we cannot defend ourselves. Then we will defend you, Minho said without thinking. Current's eyes became even larger. Your people would risk war with the coalition for us? Friends protect friends, Minho replied. That is what humans do. After the call ended, Minho sat alone in the communications room. He knew he had made a promise that Earth might not be able to keep. The human fleet was small compared to the hegemony forces, but he also knew that humans could not abandon their first true friends in the galaxy. Lieutenant Kim Sora entered the room. Admiral, Captain Lee Subin is requesting permission to take her ship to the Vellani border. She wants to monitor hegemony movements. Minho nodded. Tell her permission granted. And Sora, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we might need all available ships ready for deployment. As Sora left to send the messages, Minho looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, the Vellani were going about their peaceful lives, not knowing that danger was coming. He promised himself that humans would not let their friends face that danger alone. The galaxy was about to learn what human friendship really meant. Commander Cho Woo-sung floated in the command chair of his scout ship, Soul's Pride. The small vessel drifted silently at the edge of the Aquatica system. For 3 days he had been watching hegemony ships gather near the Vellani homeworld. Sir, I count 47 enemy vessels now, reported his sensor officer, Ensign Park Min-jae. 3 more arrived during the night shift. Woo-sung frowned. This was much larger than the 30 ships Current had reported. The hegemony was bringing serious military force to Vellani space. Any response from the Vellani defense fleet? Sir, they only have 12 ships. All of them are research vessels with basic shields. They are not military ships. The Vellani had never needed a real military. They were peaceful explorers and healers. Their ships were designed to save lives, not take them. Against the hegemony war fleet, they would be helpless. Commander, incoming transmission from the hegemony flagship, announced Communications Officer Lee Jinwoo. Put it on screen, Woo-sung ordered. The image showed general cracks on the bridge of a massive battleship. His red eyes glowed with anger. Vellani scum, you have violated galactic purity laws. Your genetic mixing with the human disease ends today. Surrender now or face total destruction. The reply came from Prime Scholar Current. His gentle voice filled the communication channel. General Krax, we have broken no laws. We seek only peace and knowledge. Please withdraw your forces. We mean no harm to anyone. Krax showed his sharp teeth in an evil smile. Your very existence is harm to the galaxy. You have 15 minutes to evacuate your orbital stations. After that, we begin cleansing operations. The transmission ended. Woo-sung felt sick to his stomach. The hegemony was planning to attack a peaceful world. This was not war. This was murder. Sir, should we contact Admiral Minho? Asked Park Min-jae. Do it. Emergency channel, Wusung ordered. The connection took several minutes. When Admiral Minho's face appeared on screen, he looked tired. The council had been meeting for hours about the situation. Commander, report, Minho said quickly. Sir, 47 hegemony warships are surrounding Aquatica. General Krax just gave them 15 minutes to evacuate. I think they plan to destroy the planet. Minho's face went pale. How long until the nearest human ships can reach you? At least 6 hours, sir. Captain Lee Subin is rushing here with 3 destroyers, but they are too far away. And the Galactic Council? Sir, they are still voting on whether to send peacekeepers. It could take days. Minho closed his eyes for a moment. Commander, record everything that happens. The galaxy needs to see this. Understood, sir. The transmission ended. Wusung ordered his crew to begin recording all sensors and communications. If the Villani were going to die, at least there would be proof of what the hegemony had done. 14 minutes later, the attack began. The hegemony ships opened fire without warning. Bright energy beams crossed space toward the Villani orbital cities. The first station exploded in a ball of fire and metal. Thousands of Villani died in seconds. Sir, they are using plasma bombs, reported Park Minjae. His voice shook with horror. Those weapons are banned by council law. More explosions lit up space around Aquatica. The Villani research ships tried to evacuate civilians from the stations. Some made it to safety. Most were destroyed by hegemony fighters. The hegemony fleet moved closer to the planet. Wusung watched in terror as they began bombing the surface. The blue ocean started to boil under the plasma bombardment. Steam rose from the water in huge clouds. They are not just attacking military targets, whispered Li Jinwu. They are trying to kill everything. On the planet's surface, floating Villani cities burst into flames. The graceful towers and gardens where millions lived became burning ruins. Emergency broadcasts from the planet filled the communication channels with screams for help. Prime Scholar Current's voice came through the chaos one last time. To any who can hear this, the Villani people are dying. We tried to live in peace. We tried to heal and help others. Remember us not as victims, but as beings who chose love over hate. The transmission cut off as plasma bombs hit the capital city. Scientist Kim Dae-ho was on the planet when the attack started. He had been studying Villani medical techniques in their underwater laboratories. When the bombing began, his Villani friends rushed him to an escape pod. Go, human friend, said his research partner, a young Villani named Gentlewave. Tell your people what happened here. Tell them we forgave our killers even as they destroyed us. Gentlewave pushed the escape pod away from the laboratory just as a plasma bomb hit the building. The pod's emergency systems launched it towards space as the ocean around them turned to steam. Daeho's pod was picked up by one of the last surviving Villani ships. Captain Flowing Wisdom was trying to evacuate as many people as possible before her ship was destroyed. Human friend Daeho, we must leave now, she said sadly. My ship cannot save any more people. Through the pod's window, Daeho watched the planet burning below. The beautiful blue world was turning gray and black. The oceans that had been home to billions of Villani were becoming poisonous clouds. The hegemony ships used viral bombs next. These weapons were designed to kill specific DNA types. They targeted Villani genetics and destroyed their ability to heal and reproduce. Even if some Villani survived the plasma bombing, the viruses would finish them. 6 hours after the attack began, it was over. Aquatica was a dead world. The oceans were gone. The cities were ash. 3 billion Villani had been murdered. Commander Wusung and his crew sat in shocked silence. They had recorded everything, but they felt like they should have done more. How could they have just watched while an entire species died? Sir, incoming ships, reported Park Minjae. It's Captain Lee Subin with the human destroyers. 3 human ships dropped out of hyperspace. They were too late to help, but they could still gather survivors. Captain Lee Subin's voice came over the radio. All ships, this is Captain Lee Subin. Begin search and rescue operations immediately. Find any Villani survivors and get them to safety. The human ships spread out across the system. They found a few damaged Villani vessels with survivors. In total, only about 3,000 Villani had escaped the massacre. From a population of 3 billion, almost everyone was dead. Back at the council station, Admiral Minho demanded an emergency meeting. When the other representatives gathered, he showed them the recordings from Soul's Pride. The evidence was clear. The hegemony had committed genocide against a peaceful species. They had used banned weapons. They had targeted civilians. It was the worst crime possible under council law. But when Minho demanded justice, the council speaker just looked uncomfortable. Admiral Minho, the hegemony claims this was a necessary police action. They say the Villani were corrupting galactic genetic standards. Police action? Minho's voice was full of anger. They murdered 3 billion innocent people. General Crack stood up in the council chamber. He did not look ashamed. He looked proud. The galaxy is now cleaner. The Villani contamination has been removed. Any species that continues genetic mixing with inferior races will face the same fate. He looked directly at Admiral Minho when he said this. The threat was clear. Humans would be next if they did not obey. Ambassador Nayujin tried to speak, but other council members shouted her down. Many species were afraid of the hegemony's military power. They did not want to risk becoming the next target. The council voted to take no action against the hegemony. They called the massacre a regrettable but necessary enforcement of genetic purity laws. Admiral Minho stood alone in the chamber as the other delegates filed out. His hands shook with rage and grief. The Villani had been humanity's first real friends in the galaxy. They had shared everything freely. They had asked for nothing but friendship in return. Now they were gone. And the galaxy had decided their murders were legal. Ambassador Nayujin stayed behind after the others left. Admiral, what do we do now? Minho looked at the empty council chamber. These aliens had shown their true nature today. They would allow genocide as long as it did not threaten them personally. We go home, he said quietly. We tell Earth what happened here, and we make sure this never happens again. As they walked toward the human section of the station, Minho sent a coded message to Earth Command. It contained just 4 words, but they would change everything. They killed our friends. Fleet Admiral Bei Hyunwoo stood in the secret command center buried deep inside Luna Base. The facility was hidden on the dark side of Earth's moon, where no alien sensors could detect it. For 30 years, humans had been building their true military power in complete secrecy. The message from Admiral Minho had arrived 6 hours ago. 4 simple words that changed everything. They killed our friends. Those words activated Operation Remembrance, humanity's most classified defense protocol. Status report, Hyunwoo ordered as he entered the main operations room. Chief Engineer Yoon Min-seok looked up from his control station. Sir, all hidden shipyards are responding. The asteroid belt facilities are bringing their ships online. The Europa yards have finished the last batch of destroyers. Total fleet count is 2,147 vessels. Hyunwoo nodded. The galaxy thought Earth had maybe 200 ships for defense. They had no idea that humans had been building a massive war fleet in secret locations throughout the solar system. What about the new weapons systems? He asked. The quantum torpedoes are loaded and ready, sir. All ships have the adaptive shield arrays. The Vengeance Protocol targeting system is fully operational. The Vengeance Protocol was humanity's most advanced military technology. It could track the quantum signature of any ship or weapon. Once locked on, there was no place in the galaxy an enemy could hide. Captain Song Ji-young entered the command center. She was the commander of humanity's newest dreadnought, the Flowing Current. The ship was named to honor their murdered Villani friends. Admiral, my ship is ready for the advance mission, she reported. We can begin scouting hegemony positions immediately. Hyunwoo studied the star charts on the main display. The hegemony controlled 12 star systems with major military bases. Intelligence reports showed they had over 5,000 warships total. On paper, they greatly outnumbered the human fleet, but numbers were not everything. The humans had advantages the hegemony did not know about. Captain Song, take your scout group to the Kelos system. I want detailed information on their forward base, but do not engage the enemy yet. We need to gather intelligence first. Understood, sir. The truth was that Earth had been preparing for war since joining the Galactic Council. The humans had quickly realized that the galaxy was not the peaceful place they had hoped for. Many species were aggressive and territorial. Some, like the hegemony, believed in racial superiority. So humanity had begun building. They mined asteroids for materials. They set up factories in empty star systems. They developed new technologies by combining human engineering with knowledge gained from trading with various alien species. The Villani had unknowingly helped the most. Their medical technology had led humans to discover new ways to enhance their soldiers. Their energy systems had improved human weapons. Their friendship had given humans something worth fighting for. Now that friendship was gone, murdered by the hegemony's hatred. Lieutenant Commander Park Tae-hyun approached the Admiral's station. He commanded the fighter squadrons that would accompany the main fleet. Sir, the pilots are asking about rules of engagement. How do we handle civilian vessels? Protect all civilians regardless of species, Hyunwoo answered immediately. We are not the hegemony. We do not murder the innocent. This was the key difference between humans and their enemies. The hegemony fought with hatred and fear. They wanted to destroy anyone different from themselves. Humans fought with purpose and justice. They wanted to protect the weak and punish the guilty. On the bridge of the flowing current, Captain Song reviewed her mission orders. Her ship was equipped with the latest stealth technology. It could move through space without being detected by most alien sensors. Her crew was hand-picked from the best officers in the hidden fleet. Navigator Lieutenant An Soo-young had mapped secret routes through dark matter fields that no alien ship could follow. Weapons Officer Commander Lee Young-ho had trained on the new quantum torpedo systems. All stations report ready for departure, announced Executive Officer Major Kim Hanbin. Take us out. Navigator, Song ordered. The flowing current slipped away from Luna Base using its experimental engines. These new drives left no hyperspace signature that enemy sensors could track. It was like becoming invisible while moving faster than light. The journey to Kelo's system took 18 hours. When they arrived, the crew was shocked by what they found. Captain, I count over 300 hegemony ships in this system, reported Lieutenant An Soo-young. This is supposed to be just a forward base. Song studied the sensor readings. The hegemony had built up massive forces throughout their territory. They were preparing for a major war campaign, probably against Earth and any remaining allies of the Villani. Record everything, she ordered. Admiral Hyunwoo needs to see this. What the crew discovered was even worse than they expected. The hegemony was not just building warships. They were also constructing weapons platforms designed to destroy entire planets. These massive stations could turn worlds into lifeless rocks within hours. Sir, we need to get this information back to command immediately, urged Major Kim Hanbin. Song agreed. The human fleet would need to strike fast and hard before the hegemony could complete their preparations for galactic conquest. Back at Luna Base, Admiral Hyunwoo received Captain Song's intelligence report with growing alarm. The hegemony was planning to destroy every species that did not submit to their genetic purity laws. Earth was definitely on their target list. Sir, we cannot wait any longer, advised Chief Engineer Yoon Min-sok. If they finish building those planet-killer stations, they will be unstoppable. Fleet Admiral Bae Hyunwoo made the decision that would change galactic history. Activate all fleet units. Begin Operation Remembrance immediately. Throughout the solar system, hidden shipyards opened their concealed doors. Ships that had been built in secret for decades emerged from asteroid bases and moon facilities. The true strength of humanity revealed itself for the first time. The main fleet gathered at a staging area beyond Pluto. Admiral Hyunwoo transferred his command to the super dreadnought Terra's Vengeance, the largest warship ever built by humans. The ship was over 3 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to destroy an entire enemy fleet. Captain Lim Seoha brought her stealth destroyer squadron to join the main force. Her ship specialized in infiltration and sabotage. They could slip past enemy defenses and strike at critical targets. Commander Oh Dong-min arrived with the heavy bombardment group. His ships carried the most powerful weapons in the human arsenal, designed to break through even the strongest enemy shields. As the fleet prepared to depart, Admiral Hyunwoo addressed all ship commanders through secure communications. Fellow officers, the Villani were our friends. They shared their knowledge and culture with us freely. They asked for nothing but peace and friendship in return. The hegemony murdered them for the crime of being different. He paused to let his words sink in. Today we begin our response. We will not seek revenge through hatred. We will seek justice through action. Every ship that participated in the Aquatica massacre will be held accountable. Every leader who ordered genocide will face judgment. The fleet began moving toward hegemony space. Over 2,000 human warships hidden for decades finally emerged to show the galaxy what happened when peaceful species were pushed too far. Communications Officer Major Jang Minji intercepted hegemony military transmissions as the fleet traveled. The enemy was completely unprepared for a human attack. They still believed Earth had only a small defensive fleet. Sir, hegemony intelligence reports estimate our total military strength at maybe 300 ships, she reported to Admiral Hyunwoo. Let them keep thinking that, he replied. Surprise will be our greatest weapon. The human fleet used the secret routes through dark matter fields that Navigator Lieutenant An Su-young had mapped. These paths were impossible for alien ships to follow, giving the humans complete strategic mobility. As they approached the first hegemony system, Admiral Hyunwoo gave the final order that would begin humanity's war for galactic justice. All ships, prepare for combat operations. Remember the Villani. Show the galaxy what human friendship means. The peaceful species of Earth was about to become the galaxy's most feared military force, and the hegemony had no idea what was coming for them. The hegemony base at Kelos Prime had never been attacked before. For 50 years it had served as the forward command center for hegemony expansion into the Outer Rim territories. Its commanders felt completely safe behind their massive defensive shields and patrol fleets. Admiral Shin Kyung-ho led the first wave of human ships toward the base. His task force consisted of 200 vessels, including the heavy cruiser Sol's Hammer and 12 destroyer squadrons. To the hegemony, this looked like Earth's entire military force. "Sir, enemy patrol ships are responding," reported his tactical officer, Commander Baek Ji-won. 15 hegemony cruisers moving to intercept. "Let them come," Admiral Shin replied calmly. "All ships, prepare to demonstrate human tactics." The hegemony patrol fleet rushed forward to meet what they thought was a desperate human attack. Their commander, War Captain Vorthak, opened communications to the human ships. "Pathetic mammals, you dare attack a hegemony military installation? Your weak species will be exterminated for this foolishness." Admiral Shin responded with cold precision. "War Captain, you participated in the massacre at Aquatica. Today you answer for that crime." The two fleets met in open space. The hegemony ships opened fire first using their standard plasma beam weapons. Their tactics were simple and direct. Overwhelming firepower concentrated on single targets. But the human ships moved differently than any enemy the hegemony had ever faced. They worked together like a single organism, covering each other's movements and sharing defensive systems. Wing Commander Park Tae-hyun launched his fighter squadrons at the perfect moment. The small human fighters transformed in mid-flight, changing from speed configuration to attack mode. Their adaptive designs confused the hegemony gunners who could not track the changing profiles. "Human fighters are changing shape?" War Captain Vorthak said in confusion. "How is this possible?" The human fighters swarmed over the hegemony cruisers like angry insects. Their quantum torpedoes found weak points in enemy armor that should have been impossible to detect. One by one, the hegemony ships lost weapons and engines. Captain Lim Seoha struck next with her stealth destroyer Invisible Blade. Her ship had been hiding in the asteroid field near the base. The hegemony sensors never detected her approach. The Invisible Blade emerged from stealth directly behind the hegemony flagship. A single spread of quantum torpedoes disabled the larger ship's main engines and weapon systems. War Captain Vorthak's vessel was helpless within minutes. "This is impossible," Vorthak transmitted to his remaining ships. "The humans are using unknown technology. Request immediate reinforcements." But Admiral Shin had planned for this. Communications Officer Major Jang Minji activated jamming systems that blocked all hegemony transmissions outside the battle area. No calls for help would reach other enemy bases. The battle lasted only 2 hours. All 15 hegemony patrol ships were either destroyed or captured. The human task force suffered minor damage to 3 ships and lost no crew members. Admiral Shin opened a channel to Kelos Prime Base. "This is Admiral Shin Kyung-ho of the Earth Defense Force. Your patrol fleet has been eliminated. Surrender now and your garrison will be treated according to the laws of war." Base Commander Kralos appeared on screen. He was a massive Krellian with battle scars covering his reptilian face. "Human scum, we will never surrender to inferior mammals. This base has shields that can stop any attack." "Very well," Admiral Shin said simply. "All ships, initiate Vengeance Protocol targeting." The Vengeance Protocol was humanity's secret weapon. Every ship in the task force began scanning the Kelos base with quantum sensors. The system analyzed the exact energy signatures of every weapon, ship, and soldier that had participated in the Aquatica massacre. Within minutes, the protocol had identified over 200 hegemony personnel at the base who had been present during the Villani genocide. It also located 12 ships that had participated in the planet's destruction target. "Confirmation complete," reported Commander Baek Ji-won. "All personnel and vessels involved in Aquatica massacre have been identified, Admiral." Shin gave the order that would show the galaxy that human justice was both precise and unstoppable. Begin surgical strike operations. The human ships opened fire with calculated precision. Their quantum torpedoes passed through the base's shields as if they were not there. The new weapons used phase technology that made barriers useless, but the humans did not attack randomly. Each shot was aimed at specific targets identified by the Vengeance Protocol. Weapons that had been used to kill Villani were destroyed. Ships that had bombed Aquatica exploded in space. Personnel who had committed war crimes found their quarters targeted with pinpoint accuracy. The base's civilian areas remained untouched. Support staff who had not participated in the genocide were unharmed. Medical facilities and food storage areas were deliberately spared. Base Commander Kralos watched in horror as his military forces were systematically eliminated, while non-combatants remained safe. This level of precision was beyond anything the hegemony thought possible. "How are they doing this?" he demanded of his tactical officers. "Our shield should stop all attacks." His science officer, a nervous creature called Skittish Claw, studied the scanner readings. "Sir, their weapons seem to exist in multiple dimensions at once. Our shields only protect in normal space." Within 4 hours, Kelos Prime Base had been neutralized. All military targets were destroyed. All personnel involved in the Villani massacre were dead or captured. The base's civilian population was unharmed and offered safe passage to neutral worlds. Commander Kralos found himself alone in his command center, surrounded by the bodies of his war criminal subordinates. The humans had known exactly who was guilty and who was innocent. Admiral Shin opened communications one final time. "Commander Kralos, your base is neutralized. Your war criminals are dead. Your innocent personnel are free to leave. This is what human justice looks like." News of the Kelos attack spread rapidly through hegemony space. For the first time in their history, a hegemony military installation had been completely defeated. The supposed weak humans had demonstrated tactical superiority that shocked the galaxy. War Marshal Krax received the reports at his headquarters on Krelia Prime. The massive reptilian leader threw furniture around his office in rage. "Impossible. The humans have less than 300 ships. How did they defeat our strongest forward base?" His intelligence chief, General Morthak, trembled as he delivered the bad news. "Sir, our surviving personnel report that human technology is far more advanced than we estimated. Their weapons pass through shields. Their ships change configuration during combat. Their targeting systems identify individual personnel with perfect accuracy." Krax showed his fangs in a savage grin. "Then we will show them what happens when they anger the hegemony. Activate the secondary fleets. I want 5,000 ships moving toward human space immediately." But Krax did not know that the humans were already one step ahead. Captain Song Ji-young had been monitoring hegemony communications from her stealth position near their home system. "Admiral Hyunwoo, the enemy is mobilizing their main battle fleets," she reported through secure channels. "They are planning a massive counterstrike against Earth." Admiral Hyunwoo smiled grimly from the bridge of Terra's vengeance. The hegemony was reacting exactly as human strategists had predicted. They would concentrate their forces for a single overwhelming attack, leaving their home systems vulnerable. "Captain Song, maintain your position and continue surveillance. Do not reveal yourself yet." The Admiral opened fleet communications to all human task forces. "All commanders, the enemy is taking the bait. Phase 2 of Operation Remembrance begins now." Throughout hegemony space, human strike groups began hitting secondary targets. Captain Oh Dong-min led an assault on the weapons research facility at Nexus Station. His ships eliminated the scientists working on planet-killer weapons while evacuating civilian researchers to safety. Major Kim Hanbin commanded a raid on the hegemony prison complex at Tortuga 7. His Marines freed thousands of political prisoners from dozens of species while destroying the facility's torture equipment. Each attack followed the same pattern. Military targets and war criminals were eliminated with surgical precision. Innocent civilians were protected and offered safe passage. The humans demonstrated that superior firepower could be combined with moral restraint. The Galactic Council watched these events with growing alarm. Admiral Minho, still Earth's representative, received angry demands for explanations. "Admiral, the hegemony is claiming that humans have declared war on the entire galaxy," said the Council speaker. "They demand that we order Earth to cease all military operations." Minho stood calmly before the assembled representatives. Behind him, screens showed footage of the human attacks, surgical strikes that eliminated guilty parties while protecting innocents. Honored speaker, Earth has declared war only on those who commit genocide. The hegemony murdered 3 billion innocent Volani. We are simply ensuring they answer for their crimes. But humans are attacking sovereign hegemony territory, the same territory from which they launched attacks against our peaceful allies, Minho replied. The same bases that house the weapons used to boil Volani oceans and murder children. Some council members nodded in agreement. Many species. The final battle began in the Krelia system, home of the hegemony's capital world. War Marshal Krax had gathered his remaining forces for a desperate last stand. Over 3,000 hegemony warships surrounded their homeworld, ready to fight to the death. Admiral Minho stood on the bridge of the super dreadnought Terra's Vengeance as the human fleet dropped out of hyperspace. But they were not alone. Ships from dozens of other species had joined the final assault on hegemony tyranny. The Zephyrian bird people had sent their crystal fighters. The silicon-based rockmen contributed their mobile asteroid fortresses. Even species that had been neutral brought warships to help end the hegemony's reign of terror. Sir, total Allied fleet strength is 4,200 ships, reported Fleet Operations Officer Commander Han Youngwoo. We outnumber the enemy for the first time. Admiral Bae Hyunwoo, commanding the fleet's military operations, studied the tactical display. The hegemony had positioned their ships in defensive layers around Krelia Prime. It would be a difficult assault, but not impossible. All ships, this is Admiral Hyunwoo. Today we finish what the hegemony started when they murdered our friends. Remember, we fight for justice, not revenge. Protect all civilians and accept surrenders from anyone willing to lay down their weapons. The battle opened when Captain Lee Subin launched her fighter wings from the carrier Aquatica's Vengeance. The ship was named to honor the destroyed Volani homeworld. Its fighters carried a special mission. Instead of attacking with weapons, the fighters deployed thousands of small drones. These machines spread throughout the hegemony fleet, attaching to enemy ships and broadcasting messages in every known language. Attention hegemony forces, the message said. You are fighting for leaders who commit genocide. Your own families on the surface below are in danger from your commander's weapons. Surrender now and help us arrest the war criminals responsible for the Aquatica massacre. The psychological warfare worked perfectly. Many hegemony ship crews had never wanted to participate in genocide. They had followed orders out of fear, not belief. Now they had a chance to do the right thing. Entire squadrons of hegemony ships began surrendering. Their crews arrested their own officers and requested permission to join the Allied fleet. Within 2 hours, nearly a third of the enemy force had switched sides. War Marshal Krax watched his forces dissolving in rage and desperation. From his command bunker deep beneath Krelia Prime's surface, he screamed orders at his remaining loyal troops. Traitors. Cowards, fire on any ship that surrenders. Destroy them all! But it was too late. The tide of battle had turned decisively against the hegemony. Admiral Shin Kyung-ho led a strike force directly at the planet's orbital defense stations. These massive platforms were armed with the same plasma weapons used to murder the Volani. The human admiral felt personal satisfaction, as his ship systematically destroyed each installation. Captain Song Ji-young commanded the assault on the planet's surface. Her Marines landed in dozens of locations, targeting hegemony command centers and weapons facilities. But they also protected civilian areas and arrested war criminals instead of killing them. The operation that had started as military revenge had become something greater, a galactic liberation, movement that freed oppressed peoples. Throughout hegemony space, Commander Oh Dong-min led his heavy assault ships against Krax's personal fortress. The massive structure was built into a mountain and defended by energy shields and automated weapons. It seemed impossible to capture. But the humans had learned from their Volani friends that sometimes the best solutions were gentle rather than violent. Instead of blasting through the fortress walls, they used the same medical technology the Volani had shared to deploy sleeping gas throughout the complex. Within hours, the entire fortress garrison was unconscious but unharmed. Human Marines walked through the halls gathering weapons and arresting sleeping war criminals. Not a single person died in the capture of the hegemony's most important stronghold. War Marshal Krax was found in his personal chambers, trying to destroy evidence of his crimes. Captain Park Tae-hyun arrested him personally, reading the charges in both human and Krellian languages. War Marshal Krax, you are under arrest for genocide, crimes against sentient beings, and violations of galactic law. You will be tried before a tribunal of all species for your actions. Krax struggled against his restraints. You mammals think you have won. Other species will never accept human dominance. They will unite against you. Captain Park looked at the alien war criminal with pity rather than anger. We do not seek dominance. We seek justice. There is a difference, though you would not understand it. The battle for Krellia Prime was over within 12 hours. The hegemony's military power was broken. Their leaders were captured or dead. Their weapons of genocide were destroyed. But the most important victory was not military. Dr. Park Ji-won made the announcement that stunned the galaxy. She appeared before the reformed Galactic Council with a small container in her hands. Honored representatives, I hold here the complete genetic and cultural database of the Vellani people. In their final moments before the massacre, they transmitted everything to us. Their DNA sequences, their memories, their art, their philosophy, everything that made them who they were. The council chamber fell silent. Even the most hardened aliens were moved by what this meant. With human medical technology and Vellani genetic science, we can restore our friends. The first new Vellani children have already been born on our colony world of New Aquatica. The species that the hegemony tried to exterminate will live again. Some council members wept openly, others cheered. The miracle of bringing an extinct species back to life had never been attempted before. Ambassador Na Yujin stood to address the assembly. The hegemony claimed they were protecting genetic purity, but what they really feared was the beauty of cooperation between different species. They killed the Vellani because our friendship made us both stronger. Admiral Minho took the podium for humanity's final statement to the Galactic Council. Today marks the end of the hegemony's reign of terror, but it also marks the beginning of something new. We propose the creation of the Flowing Current Accords, new laws that will protect all species from genocide and aggression. The accords were named after the wise Vellani leader, who had died trying to protect his people. They established strict punishments for species that attacked peaceful worlds. They created a joint defense force to protect smaller civilizations from aggressive neighbors. Most importantly, they declared that diversity was strength, not weakness. Species were encouraged to share knowledge and culture freely. The mixing of ideas and technologies that had terrified the hegemony became official galactic policy. Fleet Admiral Bae Hyun-woo announced the formation of the Galactic Protection Fleet. Human ships would form the core of this new military force, but every species could contribute vessels and personnel. Their mission was simple: ensure that what happened to the Vellani never happened again. We could have sought revenge through destruction, Admiral Bae told the assembled delegates. We could have become conquerors like the hegemony. Instead, we choose to be protectors. But know this: any species that commits genocide will face the full might of the Allied fleet. The trials of hegemony war criminals began immediately. War Marshal Krax and his lieutenants faced judges from every species they had oppressed. The proceedings were broadcast throughout the galaxy, so everyone could see justice being done. Many hegemony leaders were sentenced to life imprisonment. Others were forced to work in reconstruction projects, helping rebuild the worlds they had damaged. A few, like General Morthak, cooperated fully with investigators and received reduced sentences. Krax himself showed no remorse during his trial. He insisted that genetic purity was worth any price, even genocide. The judges sentenced him to solitary confinement for the rest of his natural life. As he was led away, the former war marshal made one final threat. You think this is over, humans? There are others in the galaxy who share our beliefs. Someday someone will finish what we started. Admiral Minho watched the fallen tyrant being taken to prison. Let them try, he said quietly. Humanity will be ready. 6 months after the final battle, the first new Vellani colony ship departed for the restored world of New Aquatica. The planet had been terraformed using human technology to recreate the ocean paradise that had been destroyed. Dr. Park Ji-won stood on the observation deck, watching the graceful dolphin-like beings swim in their new home's crystal-clear waters. The young Vellani carried the memories of their extinct ancestors, but also the hope of a better future. Current of New Hope, the first Vellani leader born after the Restoration, approached the human scientist. Friend Jiwan, our people will never forget what yours did for us. You did not just save our species. You proved that justice can triumph over hatred. Jiwan smiled as she watched Villani children playing in the shallow lagoons. Your people taught us that cooperation makes everyone stronger. We just returned the favor. The galaxy had learned that humanity's greatest strength was not their military technology or their tactical brilliance. It was their loyalty to friends and their commitment to protecting the innocent. Species that had once feared human expansion now requested Earth's protection. Worlds that had